it's time to live a life for pain. Step in the spotlight, grab a seat. Joy and wit will be soon to share. Each video crafted with care. The Jen Hardy Show, oh yeah, it's here. Soak up the sun with glitter and cheer. Shower thoughts to make you think. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Engage with minds both young and old, in conversations wide and bold. From life's big questions to simple joys, we're here with insights, not just noise. The Jen Hardy Show, oh yeah, it's here. Soak up the sun with glitter and cheer. Shower thoughts to make you think. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams. The Jen Hardy Show, oh yeah, it's here. Soak up the sun with glitter and cheer. Shower thoughts to make you think. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to have you here today. Today is, what is today? September 26th. We're getting close to Christmas, y'all. It is 3 months away. I cannot even believe it. And today I have somebody with me who is very inspiring. She is inspiring to me and also a friend. And I thought it would be so much fun to bring her up here and have her tell her story to you too, because it is going to give you some motivation, and I guarantee she's going to inspire you too. So this is my very first moderator. That's how we met, through Discord and through YouTube, and through that we become friends. And here is Lexa. Hey, Lexa.
Can't hear. Oh no.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can't hear
Maybe
you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you talk. Give me just a minute.
Okay, I'll talk. So, hi everybody. My name is Lexa Donnelly. I'm a mother of 5 who lives in Southwest Florida, and I have been living with stage 4 breast cancer for about 9 years, a little over 9 years now. And one of the things that has kept me going, of course, is my family. But I also began to realize that I wanted to not fight my disease. I'm not a warrior. I work with my disease. And I learned how to do that because of adversity when I was a child and growing up. And I learned that instead of fighting my problems, if I learned how to work with them, and then I would be able to, I guess, be the person that I needed to be. I could still be who I wanted to be, regardless of having a rough childhood, regardless of being sick all of the time. I can still do the things I love, like volunteer. I've volunteered for my children's schools. I wasn't able to keep a job. I'm on disability because I can't stand or walk or even sit for long periods of time, but I work with that as well. So I do a lot of things online. I do a lot of things on the computer. So in fact, I'm a mod for Jen here, and I do everything online. And when I'm able to do things in person, then I take advantage of that. And it has allowed me to relax enough to really take advantage of the parts of, or the aspects of life that I really want to hold on to. So, for instance, my oldest daughter is 23, and she and I go to concerts whenever we can go to concerts together. And we go to things as diverse as New Kids on the Block and Weezer, which we just got back from this weekend. Which I'm really showing my age with both of those, but I don't care. I'm actually really happy about every year that I gain, because I feel like I'm growing more into my own skin with every year, more into my own personality. But I see a couple of people that I love. So like, hi Michelle, I see you on here. So if there are any questions that anybody has for me, I would love to be asked those.
And I'm okay.
And
can you hear me,
I still can't
Lexa?
hear Jen,
But
but if you
Michelle
can still
said
hear
she
me,
can hear me.
I wanted to. do you want me to talk a little bit about what happened when I was first diagnosed, Jen?
Yeah.
Okay. So the day that I knew things were going downhill, I originally started because I wanted to get some plastic surgery done after having my fifth child. I had lost a lot of weight and was ready to kind of get a lift and get a tummy tuck. And my plastic surgeon said, absolutely not until after I had a mammogram because I had a lump. And he was absolutely adamant about that. And I said, that's absolutely acceptable. We'll do this. I had the mammogram. I also had an ultrasound at the same time. I knew things were going badly. They pulled me in right after the mammogram. The radiologist did, and showed me all of the calcification in my left breast. And then within a week, I was doing a biopsy, and exactly a week after that, I was diagnosed. The night I was diagnosed, I just felt like I needed to be really honest with my family. My children were between the ages of 3 and 13 and a half at the time. And so that's a pretty precarious group of ages that you've got there. And so my husband and I sat down with all the kids and just said, this is what is happening. And it means that I'm going to be very sick for a while, and you will see some changes. And as soon as, as soon as I'm able to do things, I will still be able to do things with you. It means that I'll be in bed more. So we have to just start readjusting. And so we did start readjusting pretty quickly. I had a double mastectomy about a month and a half later. And that really started that series of changes because they could see such a physical difference. And then we just made sure to let them know this is the way that things will be. This is how we have to accept them. And it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to be frustrated. But after that, it's time to move on, and let's find what's going to work for us right now. And that's what we did. And we had a huge outpouring of love and support and kindness from many of our family and our friends. I have an excellent group of friends from high school. My sorority sisters from Florida State were just truly invaluable as well. Friends that I've made along the way, family members on my husband's side, on my side. So we did have a tremendous amount of support. And that also helped. And I say, if you're not finding that support and you're facing an illness or you're facing an adversity, then work towards finding someone who can support you, because there are support groups, there are mentorships, there are charities that are out there for everything that you can imagine. And you're going to be able to find somebody to help you in your specific time of need and give you that boost that you need. I tried also to stay positive. I was really angry for a long time, and I can admit that now. I think a lot of people are very angry when something like this happens. And just working through that and struggling to maintain some internal positivity, not just putting a smile on my face, which I do, but trying to find something that was bright in my world, whether it was my children, whether it was just the sun was outside shining on that day. Anything that I could find that gave me a spark of joy every day was really vital, because the days that I didn't have that, I didn't feel it inside either. So that was sort of the initial struggle. I've faced down death, I would say, about 5 or 6 times. I end up getting a pretty bad intestinal illness that was caused primarily by, or was brought out by chemotherapy first. And then I have faced that 6 times. 6 times. I also came very close to dying. I was in septic shock from a UTI that gave me some Oh dear, hold on.
Sorry, I'm texting her
There we
things
go.
that she
Is that
can't hear
better?
me right now. Can you hear me?
I still can't hear. Hold on.
She can't hear me. Okay. So we're doing a
Oh,
talk
I
right
don't know what
now
I did
where
now.
I'm texting Lexa
There we
and we
go.
are talking that way. So please be patient. Oh, we just got rated. So for those of you who just joined us, this is Lexa. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. American Courts Rate. That's so cool. Now, guys, this is different than our normal thing. So this is Lexa. Most of you know her as a mod. She's a mod for a lot of people, and she is bravely telling her story about dealing with cancer today. So it's a little bit different, but I think that you're going to be very inspired because Lexa has an incredible story. So if there's anybody here who is facing something difficult, you don't know how you're going to face it, and let's be real, everyone faces things like that at some points in their life. Either watch it now and share it with somebody who needs it because she is amazing. She
Um, and if you want me, so Jen has asked me how my kids reacted. Of course, the youngest one didn't really understand. She just knew that mommy was going to be sick. And to her, that meant sick and then getting better. As their ages were a little bit, as they went up, they kind of understood a little more. But I tried to speak to them both as a group and then one-on-one in ways that they would understand that mommy wasn't going to get better for a long time, that I wouldn't be able to go back to work, at least for a while, that things would change in the house. And I normalized it. And to me, that was vital, was to normalize what was happening to us.
Yeah, it's really, really important. And I want to tell Lexa, do you want to try your headphones? See, I don't know.
Let me try my earbuds, okay?
Okay. So I'm going to tell you all a story while she's telling that. So my podcast used to be for sick moms because that was me, but it was really depressing to talk about that all the time. So I decided to do something different. But while I was doing that, can you hear me? She can't hear me still. Do you want to sign out and come back? Here, wait.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to sign out and come back. All right. So what happened was back in 2018, I interviewed 2 women with stage 4 cancer. And one of them came on the show to talk about how to talking to your kids about passing away. And the other one came on and said, I'm not passing away. I've got a 5-year-old and I'm going to stay here and I'm going to be at his graduation and I'm going to be at his wedding. And one of them is still with us and she's running a foundation now. And it is incredible. And I don't say that because I believe that a positive mindset cures everybody. I don't think that's fair because if that was true, nobody would be sick, right? But I do believe that a positive mindset can overcome so many things. And that's what Lexa's talking about today. So she's telling her story so that you can hear where she started. She can hear her cancer journey. And in the beginning, it is sad because it's scary when you hear that word. I mean, that C word, nobody likes to say it. But when you hear where she has come and what she's doing now, you will be truly inspired because Lexa has outlived all the odds and she is rocking it. And her children that were so little when she first sat them down are now older. It's making me teary. Can you hear me now, Lexa? She cannot hear me. Okay, I'm going to write it down. All right. So this is going to be an incredible, different way of doing an interview, but we are going to, we're going to text. So what I can do is I can just voice as I'm talking, I'll just voice and text it to her. So if you have any questions about dealing with illness or any of that sort of thing, definitely let us know. And Lexa, I'm going to have you go out of the studio and come back. Okay, now, and while we're doing this, we can talk about what's coming next. So let's see, especially when, oh yeah, Amanda Panda, that is a whole thing, right? When both parents have an illness, it's hard, but I'm going to tell you it can be done. So back in the day, believe it or not, it was actually 10 years ago, I was very sick. I spent 6 different weeks in the hospital. I had a thing called IVIG, which is a IV treatment 20 times. It took a full day. You would not believe that I was even the same person back then that I am now. My doctors did not know how I was going to make it. And it's been 10 years. So I'm just here to tell you that no matter what you're going through and no matter what it looks like, you never know. You just never know what's going to happen. And so you got to stay positive and keep a positive mindset. And that is exactly what she has done. So, anyway, while she's gone, I want to tell you something. I have a local artist that has shared some of her art with me, and I need to put a light on this because you can't really see it. It is a gator because we're in Florida, but it also has glitter. Oh my gosh. So it needs a light. Lexa is back. And up here, are you ready? There is a mermaid surfboard. How incredibly cool is that? So, and then there's a little thing of waves right there. All of it's glittery. I'm figuring out the lighting situation for the back there. But guys, isn't that really cool? I just thought it was the coolest thing. So she's letting me loan it in exchange for, or she's letting me borrow it. Yeah, she's loaning it to me for sharing it with all of you. Lexa, can you hear me now?
I can. I'm so glad to finally hear you.
Hooray! All right, that's awesome. Well, so we're both
Hi,
having a
friends.
sound issue. My computer does not want to recognize my microphone, so I'm have it here, but I'm talking into the. It's okay because you know what, you guys are such a cool audience that you're going to be here. So anyway, okay, so I was telling them that you're telling the beginning of the story, and it may sound depressing and sad, but it is not going to end up depressing and sad. Number one,
No.
she's still here. And what year was that when you were diagnosed?
I was diagnosed June 4th, 2015.
All right, people, listen to that. 2014. Oh, that's the same year that I got really sick.
No,
2015. Okay.
15, yeah.
So isn't that amazing? And so I just think it's so incredible. And that's why I wanted her to tell her story because you know, we all watch court, we all do the court thing, and that's really cool. But here we're going to do some court things and some other court things. And I know that everybody that watches court watches it for a reason because there's something in your life that's different, and it may be good, it may be bad, it might be whatever, but let's be realistic. This is the deal. We're all there for a particular reason. And so if one of those reasons right now is something where you're struggling, I wanted to give you someone to hear from that would inspire you to know that it's going to be okay and that you just have to keep moving forward, which is why we called it moving through adversity. Or no, not moving through, moving with, because you might not get through it. You may not get all the way through it. Like cancer may or may not leave Lexa, and she knows that, right? But she is moving with it in a positive direction. And so, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. So anyway, I'm so glad you're back.
I'm so glad I'm back and that I can hear you again. And I do want to say hello to everybody who's out there, whether you're chatting with us live or you're going to be on the replay crew. Hello, I love you. Thank you for being here, my friends. Thank you for being with Jen. Thank you for listening to me, and I really appreciate you.
Yeah, it is okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Your volume is a little low, but we can hear you. So just so you know, I don't know.
Out my earbuds because I think they're what's low. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
That's the problem.
Okay. If you all have any questions, now you're real loud. Yep. Now we can hear you. Okay. Perfect. No, you're not too loud. I just turned my sound up. Okay. So this is the thing. There's a lot of times when you wonder about things. You might wonder about what is it like to go through cancer, but who would you ask? You would never ask someone, right? Because it's awkward or whatever. But Lexa's here to answer questions. She has talked about this for a long time. This isn't new. Right. And so if you have those kind of questions, and later on, if you were watching this and it's not live, you can put questions in the comments and Lexa will get them. So just know that she's here. Yeah.
I'm here. And because most of you know, at least that are on live, I'm one of Jen's moderators. And so I do go back into videos and I'll check and see if there are questions that can be answered. So I'll be happy to answer any questions afterwards, or if you'd like to reach me, Jen will be able to put you in touch with me. I'm happy to do that. But I thought it was important to talk about moving with adversity because, again, this isn't a challenge to be conquered. This isn't a wall that you're going over. You're not doing that. You're not pushing through something. You're working with it so that you're aligning your life in a way that works for you and also allows you to work with the struggle that you're having. So that struggle might be something like depression, but you are able to find some workarounds that work for your life, right? And maybe your life doesn't look like it looked a year ago or 5 years ago, and that's acceptable. It's not just acceptable, but that's how life is meant to be. We're supposed to work with our challenges and with our adversities, just like we're supposed to work with our blessings. We don't say that we're working through a blessing or that we're working through something wonderful that has come towards us. We work with it, right? It's given to us. We bring it into our lives and we accept it. And I feel like challenges and adversities are very much the same because they can turn in many ways into blessings. I would never have met Jen. I wouldn't have met so many of the wonderful people in my life had I not had this particular challenge put forth to me. And as far as my children, we do talk about it very frankly. We talk about the fact that eventually when I die, it is most likely going to be caused either by the cancer itself or by something that the cancer brings on, like some kind of a side effect, or because I have such poor immunity, but basically no immunity to anything anymore, that I could catch something and wind up in the hospital. In fact, I just spent 9 days in the hospital in June, at the beginning of June, and had to have surgery and had to have a blood transfusion because my blood counts were really low and weren't oxygenating my organs and the rest of the cells in my body. It was very scary at first, but once we did it, I felt so much better. I truly, truly felt so much better. I'm functioning so much better after the surgery, after the transfusion. And I'm so glad that I went ahead and took those steps and that I didn't let that fear that I had conquer what I was doing and what I needed to do.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. Your body goes through so much, but it is incredible. It does give you gifts if you allow yourself to think of things that way.
True.
Like you were saying, and you do find out, yes, also Colette, yes. But you find out who your friends really are. You find
That's
out who the people are that really care. You find a beauty in people that you never knew existed. When I could, oh my goodness, we had turned our garage into a master suite at our house when I wasn't well. And so there was 5 steps to go to the rest of the house and I couldn't go up them because I was in a wheelchair back then, which is wild now. But so my kids brought camp chairs in. And so my bedroom had a line of camp chairs and their friends would come over. And the first time they would come over, they would be like, this is so bizarre. We're all sitting in your parents' room, And then after that, it was just fun. And we'd have snacks in there and we would just talk in there. So we turned it into something incredible. And I spent more
Yeah.
time with my kids as teenagers and their friends than probably I would have if I was healthier, and then they would come if I was, in the hospital, they'd come and spend the night with me and we get that time. And so we just chose to look at it as bonus time instead of anything else. And that's the thing. I think you have to find ways to make it good because otherwise it does just suck.
You have to recognize the gifts that it gives you. As you said, and the same for me, it's given us both time with our children and our families that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Now, does it take away from another aspect of our lives? Yes. Like I know for instance, I am not able to work, like I said, a real job because I have to be in a physical position much of the day where I just have all the pressure off of my spine and off of my pelvis. And that makes it very difficult, but I can send emails to people. I can participate in fundraising. I can work with some organizations that are very near to my heart. I walk with a walker if I have to be somewhere long distance, or I know I'm going to have to stand for a while so that I have a place to sit down. There are some aspects to it that really aren't that fun, but being here for my family has really, really been transformative in my life. And I am really grateful, as strange as it is, to this illness for giving me that gift of being forced to step back from the go, 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 go that I was doing in my well, the first 39 years of my life.
And that's one of the things that I found too is that, yeah, you've got soccer and softball and classes and all this stuff. And then suddenly you don't. And so it's like a forced time, but it's it lets you be very intense with the people that you're with. And it gives you that really quality time that you would never have had because you've been so busy running. And so, and I think, and so tell us about some of the things, because you do some incredible volunteer work because you're home. And so what are some of the things that you volunteer with, or some of the groups?
So I've always been both a joiner and a volunteer. Ever since I can remember, I mean, at least since middle school, I've been a joiner and a volunteer. When I counted it up in high school, just for 4 years, I was in something like 54 different volunteer programs and activities, whether it was kind of a done in a day or a long-term project. So that's just been a part of me. And I put that aside for many years while I was busy working and raising my family. And now, over the years, I've been everything from a PTO president, which is really wild for me, to what I'm doing now, which is working primarily with veterans organizations. And I am what's called a Blue Star Mom. And Blue Star Moms are an organization of mothers and sisters and women who are part of the family makeup of both active duty service members and veterans. So my county in Florida, I live in Lee County, Florida, and we have something like 67,000 veterans in my county. And there are a lot of needs for those men and women. There are a lot of holes that need to be patched in services, and everything from female service members and veterans who need items from a baby shower, strollers, diapers, onesies, wipes, car seats, to helping with suicide prevention and participating in laying wreaths on the graves of those who are departed. And so I work with them. Through them, I was part of the people who were honoring those returning from an honor flight last spring. And I met a retired colonel from the U.S. Army who has become very near and dear to my heart, Colonel Stephen Epkins. And through him, I've helped with a yearly dinner that is like not a gala, but something very similar to it, a very nice dinner for veterans of both World War II and Korea. And next year we'll be opening it up to Vietnam veterans. We have a wonderful ceremony attached to it, a challenge coin, because we all love challenge coins in the military. And if you don't know what that is, there's always a coin. It's about the size of a $50. And you can get a challenge coin from the bases that you go to, from the different programs that you attend. Anytime that you reach a new career goal, there's usually a challenge coin attached to that. So we did that. I'm also working with a group called All Veterans Memorial, and you can go to avmemorials.org, avmemorial.org, and we are raising money to build a war memorial from veterans of all wars, from all services, including a part for Gold Star mothers, who are mothers and fathers of service members who have passed, and Blue Star moms such as myself. And we're hoping to erect that in downtown Fort Myers, hopefully in the next year or so. And it's just a great, great program. I'm meeting some really incredible people, and I love hearing their stories, working with my community in this way. I do it to honor my middle child, my son Sawyer Donnelly, who is a private first class in the U.S. Army. And right now he's in Germany. And so, communication is for a 20-year-old, freshly minted 20-year-old, I should say. He just had a birthday. It is what it is. So I take what I can get when I get to talk to him. So, um, but he is over there serving his country as a military policeman. And I honestly could not be more proud of him. My other son is right now talking with our local sheriff's department and looking into becoming a deputy, and is going through that process. So we do have volunteerism in our spirit and in this family.
That is awesome. That is
Thank
so cool.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And and it's interesting because the first time we talked, so I have a daughter in Germany and not in
Right.
the military, and then you've got a son in Germany, and it is, yeah. Oh, Dave said, yeah, Dave was a 20-year-old in Germany, and it was someday Dave will tell his story, but this is not.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's funny because we both put it. Um, yeah, it's pretty incredible. So now you got diagnosed, you went through all that,
Right.
and you're in remission? Is
No,
that-
I will never technically be in remission. I'll never be cured. I'll always have cancer. And that is something I've become very, very comfortable with communicating with other people. Because I was stage 4 at diagnosis, with breast cancer in particular. Other cancers are very different, but with breast cancer, there are about 15 different kinds of breast cancer. And if you're stage 4, or if it comes back and it's the same breast cancer that you had before, you're considered stage 4. And you'll be stage 4 for the rest of your life. Now, you can be in remission, but you're still going to have breast cancer. Mine is as good as it's going to get, which means it's very stable, but it does have a small amount of growth. So quarter after quarter, when I do my scans, I do MRIs, I do CT or CAT scans, and then sometimes I have to do bone scans or PET scans as well. So,
And is
the growth,
that just tracks where they're at?
right, it tracks where I'm at. Everything is very, very stable. For the most part, I have the best prognosis in that it is sticking primarily to my bones. Now, the caveat with that is that I do have breast cancer in most of my bones, but it's from the way it's been described to me by my two best friends who both have rheumatoid arthritis, it seems very much like that, like a rheumatoid arthritis feel, except instead of being my joints, it's the bones themselves. It's given me osteoporosis pretty bad to where, now this is kind of funny. About a year and a half ago, I wanted to watch a movie with my girls, and they were going to lay on part of my bed. We were all just going to pile on. And I had a big pile of clothes on the bed that I just hadn't put up, right? So I was like, I'm just going to dump this stuff on the floor. So I went to grab them, pick them up, and just put it on the floor. Well, I heard this big loud pop. My daughter was about 15 feet away here in the bathroom, and she heard it and came running. And it was like, oh, this really hurts. I thought my shoulder popped out of joint, and then I did something and it kind of popped again, and I just thought it popped back, right? Never thought anything about it after a couple of days later when it stopped giving me a little problem. A few months later, I had to do a CT scan, and I had to have my arms up like this. So, I'm like this in the CT scan. Everything's fine. I didn't bother to read the results. And the next day, I'm talking to my oncologist, and she looks at me. We're all done talking about things. And she goes to tell me about this broken shoulder of yours. And I said, what the H are you talking about? I don't have a broken shoulder. Look, it's fine. Everything's good. She goes, no, honey, you've got a broken shoulder.
Wow.
And I said, what on earth are you talking about? And I had to go and do some x-rays, and lo and behold, so there's a little bone on some people. You can see like a little bump on top of their shoulder right here, right?
Yeah.
That bone right there is connected to one of the muscles in your bicep. Okay, so your bicep uses that to pull on. And when I picked that stuff up, that bone went boop, and it's like 3/4 of the way broken like this. And I talked to an orthopedic surgeon rather, sorry. And he said, yeah, we can fix it. But if we put a screw in your shoulder, you're going to always feel the screw in your shoulder and it's going to hurt a lot. He said,
Oh,
if you just leave it like that, just don't pick up anything heavy again. You know, use your left arm for once in your life. It's like,
wow.
okay, sure, I'll just do that. So yeah, I have a weirdly broken bone in my shoulder from picking up laundry. It's probably the only laundry related
Injury.
injury that
Although a wonderful excuse not to do laundry,
it
if I
is.
do say so myself. And I know Dave's like, yeah, he knows. Laundry, the thing.
Not
Yeah.
my friend. I do tend to have laundry mountain on at least one of my couches at all times.
Oh my gosh. Okay, put in the comments if you do not have laundry somewhere that is dirty, not in a bucket, or that is clean and not folded. I am sure everybody probably has some sort of laundry. Oh my goodness. It just, and this is the thing, when Dave was working, the laundry fairies would come and they would, clothes would be in his drawers and all this stuff. And the laundry fairies no longer come. And my
Right.
family is yeah, it's a lot.
It's
It's a lot.
bad. It's really
Yeah.
bad.
So yeah.
Yeah. We've gotten the children now. We have three still living at home. My oldest daughter bounced back and is back at the house, at least for a few more months. And I have a 17 and a half year old and a 13-year-old at home still, and they have to do their own laundry. I don't do their laundry or their cleaning for them anymore. The girls do the dishes. They take care of the things that they need to in order to kind of build that system that, yes, every day we need to do the dishes. Yes, every day we need to clean up the bathroom. We need to do this once a week. We need to do that. So that's how I'm instilling that in them.
It's good. See, and my kids too, they have a list, and we've had it. I mean, okay, my oldest daughter is 35. I can't even believe that's a thing.
Right.
And right, so but ever since she was like 5 years old, we've had a list, and they do not like them. They do not like the list, but they do all the things. We're really struggling with these last two, but
Right.
they all fought me on it. But every single one of them, when they moved out and went to college, they all said, thank you for making us learn, thank you for making us do it,
Yes.
because otherwise they don't learn.
They don't
And
learn.
people think they're doing their children a favor by doing everything for them, but you're unfortunately not.
You're not.
Because,
A 5-year-old can help to put dishes in a dishwasher.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
So, yeah, the
or
first couple of years,
the little
or take,
tab in and turn it on. Like a
yep,
5-year-old can be trained to do that, and that gives them a sense of accomplishment as well. Like if they have a job, they feel important. So yeah.
yeah. So mine, when they were little, the littlest one would empty the dryer, and then the
Mhm.
next bigger one would put the stuff from the washer into the dryer, right? And so that was easy. And then, yeah, they could do different parts of the, plastics in the dishwasher or whatever, and it just starts out the day so much better. It
Yeah.
really does, especially because we homeschool and they're together
Right.
all the time.
Right.
So, yeah,
And ours, because we are in public school, our schedules are pretty variable. It's almost like coming home from work. We know that there's going to be a time they come home, they need to have a short rest, but then it's walk the dog, it's do this, it's they have a couple of things to do. It's do your homework, let's sit down together, let's make dinner, let's kind of, we're pretty structured in that way too.
yeah.
And I noticed a comment from Colette. So I can't take bone pills anymore. I used to take infusions of a drug called Zometa, which is for osteoporosis, and it's much more intense even than bone pills. And I was unfortunate enough to get one of the worst side effects of that, which was it caused the bone in my jaw to grow, and then it became infected. But when it started growing, it was incredibly painful. And simultaneous to that, like at literally the exact same time, I developed a cancerous lesion inside my TMJ joint. So the joint that opens and closes your jaw, on the ligament of all places. And my
Oh,
oncologist had never seen anything like this. I did get a small cancer lesion, which made it so that I can't fully open my mouth all the way. And with the bone growth, and then it died, that extra growth died. And so I can never have any kind of a bone builder again. And
Yeah.
oh, hi Jedi, I love you too, sweetie. I love you, Michelle. Um, um, because it died, I can't take any more of those. So the osteoporosis, unfortunately, is gonna kind of win that little struggle. But like I said, I just work around it. I work with it. I just use my left arm a little more than my right now.
Yeah, there you go. See,
you
and
know,
it's all about attitude, right? Which is why I wanted you all to hear I wanted you all to hear her because I don't know what it is in the last I don't know what it is in the last couple of years. Things have changed in our culture, in our world. I think not our culture, but like the world, every culture, whatever. And it seems like everyone is going through a lot.
yeah,
Everyone's just going through a lot.
I,
And it seems harder to deal with things in general. People are arguing. I don't know. And so I think we just need to hear things from people that are doing well at the things that may be really a struggle for the rest of us. Does that make sense?
it
I don't
does.
know.
It does. And
Um,
sometimes it's nice to see someone who is dealing with something that's different than what you're dealing with and learn what it is that is helping them to make sense of things.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We're not all going to overcome something, but we can work with it enough to allow our lives to continue without it being so traumatic, I think might be a good way to say it.
yeah,
Um, if there are old adages about like you can't let it get you down. And what I have found for myself is that if I go ahead and cry, if I let myself fall apart, I give myself a day to fall apart and then I try to pick myself back up. Um, like I'll give you a really good example. Last week I lost a very dear friend of mine. An older gentleman, a Vietnam vet. He had been with the Chicago Police Force for 30 years. Just a truly beautiful soul. Beautiful soul. It was very unexpected. Um, and I went ahead and just let myself lose it. Sobbed, cried, was a big puffy mess. And then I had to stop and remember that is not what my friend wants for me. And it's okay. He would be okay with me doing that and mourning that I don't get to see him again. But in the meantime, he doesn't want me to always be like that. And he wants me to remember him as he was, which was just probably the most decent human being I've ever met in my life. And that's what I plan to do. We're, we were supposed to have his memorial today. And as Jen and the rest of you probably know, we're in the middle of a hurricane
yep.
as we're filming. And so you might hear outside my window some of the tropical storm that's still going on. Um, and so it's been put off till tomorrow. Hopefully on Friday, we'll be able to have his memorial and celebrate his amazing life.
Very cool. Yeah, and see, so we do something similar. We have a pity party. So I will say, okay, and it's 5 or 10 minutes, which it doesn't seem like a lot of time. But here's the thing: you get to yell and scream and cry and say all the things about whatever it is that are bothering you. You just say them all. And believe it or not, 5 minutes of being allowed to do that is usually too long
Yeah,
because by the time you do it for like 2 minutes, you're like,
you're
okay,
done.
yes, I got it all out. Right. And I think it's because I feel like our culture, especially, like, you think about funerals in New Orleans, right? They have these parades and everyone is like wailing and crying and whatever. Or in Jewish culture, where they have 7 days if someone passes of, you grieve for 7 days. And I
Right.
think in the rest of America, we're like, get over it. You're done. Well, and it's that holding it in, I think, and that pretending like everything's fine when it's not fine, and you bottle it up, and then it comes out at the worst times, and the next thing you know, you've got 10 different huge things bottled up in there when we need to get them out.
Right. Well, what happens with me when I hold things in and I don't allow myself to express it is I will then explode on something really small and inconsequential and that really has no bearing on why I'm upset. And I agree with you, Jen. It's better to just for me, for the people around me, to just sit and get it out, get whatever it is out of our system, and be able to move on from there. You know, internalize it and then work with it. Allow ourselves to breathe, allow ourselves to grieve as well, and then adjust how our lives are going to be from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You start that process afterwards. And yeah, sometimes it does take screaming and yelling and kind of being ugly for a little while and just getting through it. And that's okay. There's
It is okay.
nothing wrong.
I mean, if you're a grown person, maybe scream into a pillow and don't terrify the neighborhood,
Right.
and as the kids get older, I'm like, okay, you can't just like scream at other people either, you just, but just take your time and just let it all out. Or, we'll sit in my car. I'll have one of the kids come out with me and we'll just, okay, you could just, cause it's pretty soundproof in there. Just tell me all about it. Let's just talk all about it and get it all out. And it does help. I think just sometimes for me, if I have a problem, saying things out loud helps,
Mm-hmm.
just
Right.
saying things out loud. And I made Dave so happy because, men are fixers, right? They want to fix everything. And women are talkers, right? So we have a problem. We feel like we have to talk. And then the man feels like you have to fix. And sometimes we don't want them to fix it.
Right.
And so we were having this issue and I said, all I need you to say is it sucks. That's all I need you to say. Well, that sucks. And he goes, hold on. All these years, I thought I had to come up with all these things and you'd shoot them down and get so upset. And I'm like, yes, because I don't want you to fix it. And so now he says it all the time. He's like, well, that
Yes.
sucked. And the first couple times he's like,
Yeah.
really? That's all you need?
Those are
And
the
I'm like, yeah,
magic words.
that's all I need. So men out there, really, if she says she needs more than that, you give her more than that. But I guarantee you 95% of the time, we don't want more than that.
We just want someone to commiserate with us because we can fix it ourselves.
Exactly. Thank you, Dave. That sucks. That's right. That is exactly it.
I love
Right?
it.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes. The pressure is off. You can't solve our problems. We don't
right.
always want you to solve them. We
Yeah,
just want
I
you to listen.
solve my own problems too. I just need sometimes a sounding board or just to physically get it out of my head.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. And so a lot of times when I say it, I can solve my own problem. I just have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it is a lot. So does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have anything they want to share or anything for either one? And Lexa was telling me to let you know she has a medicine that is making her eyes leak. And
So
she
sorry. It
looks
looks
like she's crying. She is beautiful. Her makeup has stayed on perfectly, unlike mine
like
if I was doing that. And yeah. So it's all good. But yes, her smile is infectious. Absolutely.
that
It's beautiful. I know. It
I
is
love
so incredible. Ah, there we go. Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay. Do you want to vent or do you want advice?
I like that.
I like that too.
Bye. I love you, babe. I'm so glad you're here. Yes. Being heard. You just need to be heard.
That's right. And you
So,
know what's really sad is so many people aren't heard.
mhm.
They're
Exactly.
just not heard. And I think, just listening to people is so important
Yeah.
and letting everyone feel like and you might not think that what someone is upset about is a big deal. You might think it's really stupid, to be quite honest. But if it's upsetting to them, unless they want to tell you about it for 7 hours, in which case,
Yeah. And you have to kind of shut it down and say, I think I have some ideas on how we can work through this, or
right.
some ideas of what might help you to feel a little bit better, and get that person to slow down and actually listen to you. And really that's important too, is to not let yourself run away with whatever it is that is
Exactly. Well, that's why we have a time limit on our
having.
thing. Like
Yeah.
you can be sad and then we're gonna have to move on. All right, Victoria wants to know, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I go to concerts. Or I the last few years, of course, since the big C, we haven't been able to do it as often, but usually about once a year, my sorority sisters and I have gotten together for a big dinner a couple of hours away, and I'll usually stay overnight for that. In fact, I just got home yesterday from that.
Oh,
And it was one of the people that was coming in from Seattle, her flights got canceled, so she wasn't able to attend. It ended up just being three of us, and we just had a blast, howling with laughter in the middle of a busy restaurant. My older daughter and I love to go to concerts. Like I said, we went to New Kids on the Block in July. And then we just got back from Weezer this weekend. Let me tell you, by the way, if you're a Weezer fan, you guys, they played the whole Blue album, the whole debut album, on top of already playing a whole show. Weezer
Oh my
themselves,
God.
after two openers, Weezer played 25 songs. It was rad. It was so great.
That
Oh,
is so cool.
and you can see the storm. We just lost power.
Oh my goodness, yes, you did. Okay, well, if
Oh,
you have to go, let us know because we
yeah.
understand, and it's
So
already
far, I
night.
still got service. So,
All right,
but anyway, yeah. So that's what we do for fun.
that's so cool. That is
Yeah.
very cool. I see, I'm not a concert person. I don't like a lot of sound, like loud sound.
Mhm.
So Dave loves concerts. We have gone to concerts, but
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's find someone else to go to the concerts.
Yeah.
But it's, I think it's great that like people that like to, I don't know, but
I took my daughter Ellie, who's 17, to a comedy show up in Orlando a few weeks ago. That was a lot of fun too. She hadn't gotten to experience a show out of town with me, so we did that, and she just loved it. She had the time of her life. So I have a feeling that's going to be a thing now too. And as my younger daughter gets older, we're going to find some things to connect with as well. She's a little bit too young for some of those experiences, but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I like to have experiences with my kids. Or before that, what we would do is we would play board games, which sounds really silly, but when you get
No,
a group of people sitting down with board games, it is. Can I say this? It's hella fun.
it
It's just
is. No, let me tell
crazy.
you what, we literally play board games for about an hour every single day, if not more.
Yeah.
Every single day. We absolutely love board games because I'm working a lot. I'm in the studio like 10 hours a day. And if to come out, like tonight I came out and we watched TV during dinner, but that's not connecting, right? And
Mhm.
so yeah, it's really nice to just play yeah, we do the same.
Right. And I saw that, Bill. You're right. It's only a cat four. What am I complaining about?
Munchkin, guys, Munchkin. It's like D&D Light in a board game. It is the best. It is
Yeah.
so cool. And you're allowed to cheat if you can get away with it, which is, the kids think are fun.
Right.
Um,
We have like four versions of Clue and I think six versions of Monopoly.
oh yeah, we have so many versions of Monopoly. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's a thing I wanted to show everybody before we go because it's already almost 10. And Lexa had shown me some pictures and I
Yeah.
kind of put them together in just this little 20-second thing. But the reason is because I think when we think about going, like when you have a sickness and it changes the way we look. And a lot of people are very judgmental about that. And
Mhm.
especially for women, it's
Right.
very hard to watch things change and be willing to let other people see that. And so Lexa has shared some images from when she lost her hair to let you see just how normal that this is and how it happens and how beautiful she is and rocks this head. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I just have a quick thing I'm going to show. It's literally 20 seconds and then we're
Yeah.
going to come back. Um, just a little touch of, but look at her with those. I don't know any other woman. There was that one girl in the 80s that had shaved her head.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, but
Connor.
you really, I'm not even kidding when I say that. Like, I wouldn't have even brought it up if I, like, you could rock that. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
But it's as a woman, it's so hard when you
Mhm.
lose your hair. And I think it's so brave.
So,
And I think it's empowering for other women to see
right.
this happens and you're willing to say, hey,
So I'll share just very quickly. I know we only have a couple more minutes, but The day that I decided to shave my head, I had run my hands through my hair a couple of times and just came out with clumps of hair. And I just couldn't do it emotionally, mentally. I couldn't do it. So I attached my phone to the mirror and started recording. And I just kind of bit the bullet and shaved my head. It took about 3 minutes to do all together, and kind of took a breath afterwards and blew it out, took a shower, put my makeup on. And that's what you saw was after that, because I knew the moment I stepped out of the house that people would then know that I was sick. It wouldn't be a question anymore. They would know. And it's true. Even driving my car, before I even stepped foot out of my car with my head shaved the first time, people would look at me in their cars, and you could see their face change. And you see that. And I think we need to normalize the fact that it's okay to look different. It's okay to acknowledge that somebody may be struggling with something if they look different, and then to move on.
Yeah. And I think people don't realize it's okay to ask people questions as long as they're not rude, instead of staring,
Right.
and let kids ask questions, because I
Absolutely.
think
Ask
when you
questions.
tell them, oh no, you can't talk about that. Let's not say, then it's scary. But like when my kids were younger, they went to occupational therapy and did all these things with a bunch of people that were very different. And so we encouraged those conversations. And so they grew up believing that all that was normal, right? That people are just different, their bodies are different, and that it's okay. And it's such a different way of looking at it than, like, say I did when I was a kid, or that, people, I don't know. Well, not that I did. I think people around me did. To me, everybody's a person. I don't know. Apparently that's a different way of looking at it. But
Right.
it's so important.
And
And
I
and
want
then
to
we
say thank you so much to Victoria and to Jay for their kind words. Thank you so much, ladies. Or Jay, I'm assuming I shouldn't have assumed. I apologize. Jay, I really appreciate your kind words, and Victoria as well. That was very sweet of you.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone has been super nice and super supportive and super loving, and I appreciate it so much. And like I said, it's almost time.
It is.
So
Yeah, it
it's
went
time
fast.
for last minute goodbyes. We are, and so there's a bunch of us in. Um, oh
Okay.
yeah,
Hmm.
surprising how many people have alopecia. The first time I heard that word, we were in a group when we lived in Pennsylvania, and there was a 6-year-old girl that was completely bald. And she had made peace with it and whatever, but everyone was real weird about it. And I think it's just so good to say, and Jay, that was very brave. And thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Your kindness really
Yeah.
shines through.
Yeah, definitely, girl. Um,
Oh, okay. Thanks, Bill.
my homie, but still a girl. That's funny. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. And this is incredible. And do me a favor and share this with somebody that is going through something, or maybe has cancer, because I think it's a good inspiration. And even when you hear those words, the word cancer, first of all, but then you hear stage 4, a lot of people just think this is the end, right? And this is
Hmm.
not the end. It does not have to be the end. Certainly is not the end for Lexa. Check her out. She is
Right.
amazing. And yeah, it's so important. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Lexa,
Thank you, Jen.
so much.
I
It's
love you so
been,
much, sir. And thank you so much, friends, for being here with us. I really appreciate it much more than you know. So, and as Jen said, please spread this to someone else who may need to talk to somebody. I'm always willing to lend an ear and chat with people.
yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Lexa. Thanks, everyone. We're going to call it a night. It's 10 o'clock and we're both in hurricane path.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and go now. And we'll talk to you guys later. I'll be back on Monday, and Monday is going to be a surprise. So there we go. Well, oh, you know what? Can we address this? We do have 1 minute.
What's
This
that?
is Bill said, or American courts, and I can never think about so I'll say how I think, and you say how you think, or you say how you tell people to talk about it first, and then I'll.
Okay. How I ask people to talk about cancer?
Or
I
yeah,
am very blunt. I'm very blunt. What would you like to know about my cancer? I'll give you all the stats. I'll give you all the information that you need.
And what I tell everybody, if somebody is passed or somebody is sick or whatever, it's okay to say, I don't know what to say to you right now, but I want to say something and I care.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Just letting them know you care and you don't know what to say.
Right. And it's okay to say, are you ill? Is there something that I can do? Is there something that you need, or just I love you?
But I'm going to put a caveat on that. You only say, what can I do if you're going to do it? I
Right.
can't tell you how many people said, I will do X, Y, and Z, and they had no intention. So it's okay not to offer if you're not going to do it.
True. That's very true.
So, all right. Well,
All
thank
right.
you, everyone. You're amazing. Mwah. Thank you, Lexa. I love you all, and we'll see you Monday.